Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here with the Honorable Travis Toews. He is a candidate for the leadership of the United Conservative Party in the province of Alberta. Travis, we were just talking a little bit about, before the break, about how the growth agenda of the Alberta economy under Premier Kenney and you as finance minister has been quite tangible. How would you like to see the Alberta economy grow in the future, and how does that contrast, let's say, with Rachel Notley's plans as a leader of the NDP?
Sure. Well, Tony, I would suggest that we can take a look at the outcomes of two different approaches. Rachel Notley's government in 2019, when they took office, they raised taxes. They raised corporate taxes, business taxes by 20%. They introduced the carbon tax, which affected every business, as you know, every family, every nonprofit organization. They added regulatory burden in many areas. I can cite agriculture, for instance, Bill 6, which was a bill that certainly affected labor laws that were very, very difficult for Alberta's farmers and ranchers and for agriculture in general. That's just one example. And we saw the results of that. They did not champion the energy industry, which is a big part of our economy, not the only part of our economy, but they did not champion the energy industry. In fact, seemed somewhat embarrassed by it, unfortunately. And the results were tragic. Investment fled the province by the tens of billions of dollars. Tens of thousands of jobs were lost during that time. Many small businesses and entrepreneurs lost decades of equity, and some didn't make it at all. Contrast that with effectively the reform agenda that we brought in 2019. We reduced business taxes, corporate taxes by a third. We brought in a reform agenda on regulatory modernization, red tape reduction, if you will. We lowered taxes and regulatory burden wherever we had the opportunity. And we worked hard to position the energy industry, to champion the energy industry with our narrative, because words matter, narrative matters. And what we're seeing right now is incredible in the Alberta economy. We're seeing growth in sectors that I couldn't have imagined. For instance, the tech sector, Tony, you mentioned it.
Right.
We're leaders right now across the nation in terms of tech sector growth and investment. Film and television industry. We've gone from $100 million industry annually to $1 billion. We're seeing manufacturing projects set up in Alberta. And as you know, de Havilland announced an aerospace manufacturing play just outside of Calgary. We're seeing incredible investment in petrochemicals, hydrogen, which it will be part of the important energy transition in the future. Agriculture, processing, and manufacturing, and I could go on. We're seeing diversification right now at rates I've not seen in my lifetime, but that doesn't diminish the importance of the energy industry. The events of the last 8 months globally have just underpinned the importance again of energy security, not only for Alberta and for Canada, but for North America and in fact globally. Canada, Western Canada, Canada as a nation not only has a great opportunity in our energy industry, I believe we have a deep responsibility to ensure that we are providing and exporting the most responsible energy in the world, ensuring that energy is available to our friends and allies and neighbors around the world.
Yeah, in fact, funny you should mention that. The last time I saw Jason Kenney was in Washington, D.C. I happened to be there on business, and he was there. It was the day before he announced his resignation after the result on the leadership challenge was announced. But he was speaking before the Senate committee, the Senate Energy Committee in Washington, D.C. So always trying to make the case that now is the time that Alberta oil can be very helpful. So you would continue with that argument.
Absolutely, that's an incredibly important argument. I was in New York meeting with the investment community a couple of months ago as the Minister of Finance for the province. There was not one conversation that didn't include energy security, North American energy security. The narrative has changed. in the last 8 months, the realization that energy security is critically important, I believe, again, it is changing perspectives with a dose of reality. We need to continue to make progress on reducing emissions. Our industry has made great progress over the last couple of decades. We need to continue to make great progress.
We're just going to have to take a brief break.